Jesus has done great things for us. We are filled with joy. Today's responsorial psalm. And I think for me, an opportunity to think about life a little bit differently. See, I'm pretty sure that if any of us think about it for a minute, we can identify those times in our lives when the Lord did something great for us and we were joy-filled. We may not have realized it at the moment that the Lord or God or Jesus was doing something great in our lives and allowing us to be filled with joy. But when we take the time to reflect at the end of the day or the end of the week or the end of the month, or at any point we sit quietly and look back over our lives, I think most of us can pretty easily see that there have been times when something great really did happen in our lives, and we were happier and felt more joy-filled than we ever had before. As I was preparing for this weekend, the thing that really did strike me was the realization that before I learned to take the time to reflect on my day and look back over my life at different times, those moments when something great happened in my life, for the most part, I either didn't realize that something great had happened, or, far worse, I didn't give God credit for those great things that happened in my life. Yes, I knew I was happy and filled with joy in those moments, but like many, I took the credit for myself. So as I reflected on those great things that have happened and the experiences that I've had and the joy that I felt, I realized that that joy really only comes because I had accepted Jesus' invitation to follow him and to make God's way my way. And if you think about it, it's only natural that people, in our brokenness, that we feel like we have to do things our way, to have everything go according to our plans. As humans, I think this happens because we've been brought up with two things that indoctrinated us. First is that we do what we do. We're in total control. Rather than the good things happening because of the gifts that God has graced us with. And the second is the belief that self-reliance is the freedom that we all seek. And perhaps it is indeed true that we ventured out on a career path and found great success without the explicit assistance of other people. Or maybe we completed a project or maintained a household without any other human being to really help us. But again, if we take a step back and reflect on it, I think what's underlying all of this, these gains, these great moments that we've had, is the truth that it is God's love that sustains us and allows us to achieve these good things, and that true freedom only comes through a communal life with Christ. Faith is what allows us to align our way with what God desires for us. For some, it is through marriage, where we join our way of life with that of our spouse and our children. For others, it is through religious vows or a commitment to a worthy cause, where we join with the way of a community. We learn to surrender. And as we surrender ourselves to others for the sake of those we love or for the greater good, we become more free to rely on God to guide us, because he guides us in the ways of compassion and love and reveals his son Jesus to us. Jesus reveals God's way of love and invites us to join him. For some, he invites them in a very straightforward way, as when Jesus said to Peter, "Come after me," or when he said to Levi, "Follow me." But others are like Bartimaeus, the blind beggar, who cries out for the pity of God. His faith allowed him to cry out. Our faith is a gift as we acknowledge that our own need to see and to follow Christ is really the only way to freedom and peace. Like Bartimaeus, we may not clearly see at first, but we can listen and listen closely for Jesus, who never gives up on us, who's always there when we have our weak moments. We too will find restoration and healing when we turn to Jesus. Bartimaeus joined a sizable group of others following Jesus. That was not easy for him, and it took great courage. But we too are surrounded and supported by others, the community of disciples known as the church. And through it all, Jesus continues to heal and to guide us. And this is the greatest way that we can experience that, is through the Eucharist, which unites us directly to him. We become more Christ-like in our compassionate caring for ourselves, for others, and for the world. Instead of being self-made, we are Christ-made, and our destiny is our redemption in him, as God's way fully becomes our way.